Our Chase Howell continues our team coverage tonight. He's been talking with former members of the FBI, and although they are investigating this as an act of terrorism, Chase, this doesn't mean that it's strictly overseas, is it?
That's right. Although the FBI says they found the man with an ISIS flag, they also say they aren't ruling out that this could be an act of domestic terrorism. A crime scene spanning multiple states. The bulk of the investigation happening in the heart of New Orleans on Bourbon Street. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away, FBI agents in Houston at the suspect's home. Local and federal law enforcement trying to piece together why Shamsud-Din Jabbar drove into a crowd of people.
To invoke that feeling of fear in the masses, that's terrorism.
Quentin Williams worked as an FBI agent between 1992 and 1996, even working on the ground during the Oklahoma City bombing. He says right now agents in the French Quarter are trying to put together a story, or in other words, find out the who, what, when, where, and most importantly, why.
A lot of the people who commit these acts, they chronicle why they're doing it, who they are, whether it's unknowingly doing it through social media or it's purposeful, doing it in diary form.
Beyond just that, agents are also working to learn who Jabbar may have acted with in coordinating the attack, whether that's by searching electronics or asking people who he may be associated with.
What was the tipping point? And I think that's the key that the FBI and their partners are looking for.
John Pistol worked as the deputy director of the FBI from 2004 to 2010. He says the agency will also be looking to see if this act was a jumping off point for other acts of terrorism to occur.
One of the key things the FBI looks at is whether this was to be set as a trigger, if you will, for follow-up attacks that people were waiting to see, okay, when this attack happens, then you are to go ahead and conduct your attack in a similar fashion or perhaps something quite differently.
As far as Jabbar being an Army veteran, Pistol says multiple agencies will be looking into the time before his military service and during it.
The U.S. Army, the Pentagon, everybody in the Department of Defense who has any information about him, Army intelligence, those are people who are looking at scrubbing every record, every indication of who was this person, what did he do, and were there any indicators that might have said that, yes, he could commit a terrorist attack like this.
Something to note as well tonight, ISIS still hasn't claimed responsibility for the attack, something we've seen them do after attacks of terror both here and overseas. Mr. Pistol, who you just heard from, says they usually do so within 24 hours, but if they don't, it doesn't mean Jabbar wasn't inspired by their acts.